My name is Coyote Crow, and today I'll be reading The Best Dumplings in Town. If you ever find yourself in Black Hill, make sure you stop by Madame Rosie's on Lamplighter Way. It's a little out of the way, hidden among clusters of more brightly lit restaurants, shimmering like anglerfish's lures, but I promise it's worth traversing the gritty alley to get there. Set back from the hustle and bustle of the main thoroughfare and its many tourist traps, Madame Rosie's is a little more than an unassuming hut crowned with a pagoda-style roof. Hanging from one of its angular eaves is a neon sign that sometimes works, but often not. It casts a glare into the scrimshawed support branches, painting the bone tiles a rye crimson when it's lit up, and draping them in conspiratorial shadow on the occasions Rosie can't make it behave. Her name isn't Rosie, but it's easy for the Outlanders to pronounce. They'd never get her real name right, though a few have tried. She'd prefer it if you didn't. Our tongues aren't suited for the tonal intricacies her name contains, and she'd rather not have to clean up the mess you'd leave behind when you cocked it up. She's not really Korean either, though she wears that flesh well enough to pass. She's a bit of a controversial figure in that way. Is her mimicry racist, antiquated, or have the nuances been lost in translation? Is it all three at once? Is what she is underneath all that meat even capable of racism? And should we not even pose the question lest we be accused of projecting our human sensibilities onto creatures and cultures which are decidedly not? At any rate, she's a kind sort, and I think that takes out some of the sting. The dumplings, however, are not a matter of controversy. Despite what the Black Hill brochures say, they really are the best in town, the best anywhere, in my view. Here's how to get them, supposing you're up to the task. First, there's the waiver, a relatively new requirement. A few years back, the city passed an ordinance requiring restaurants like Rosie's to at least attempt to inform their customers of what they were getting themselves into. You can read it if you'd like, but I don't recommend it. Buried amid the legalese, you're likely to find out more than you want to about Rosie's establishment. And ignorance, as Rosie says, improves the flavor. Once you've signed, she'll take your name to the back, where she'll use it to determine whether you're worthy of being served. I wouldn't argue with her if I were you. It's a fairly painless process, though you may feel a little pressure in or around the vicinity of your soul. Don't worry, she always gets it right, and what she takes away with her really is inconsequential. If she returns the waiver and says nothing more, then these dumplings are not for you. Thank her, turn around, and leave. Do not attempt to bribe or persuade her into changing her mind. Rosie knows who the dumplings are meant for, and if it isn't you, then nothing else on her menu will be either. She's got a piece of your name now, and any attempts to cajole or threaten her are therefore ill-advised. Supposing she smiles, you can rest assured you're in for a treat. She'll leave you then, sitting at the counter in the small, dimly lit dining area, listening to the steady drip of chart toppers from the 1950s. You may catch Rosie humming along just as the antique incandescent bulbs begin to flicker and hiss. You may smell a blurt of phosphorus from a freshly struck match, though the back of your tongue registers a flavor similar to copper and a texture like tallow. You won't know why that makes your mouth water, but don't think about it too hard. It's normal. Rosie will bring you a pale bowl scored with the echoes of the chopsticks that came before yours. There's a milky tint to the broth and a richness which renders it almost gelatinous. Bobbing within it, you'll find 12 dumplings arranged in a geometric pattern best described as non-Euclidean. It will delight you, even as a migraine sears a wound across your skull. The first dumpling you choose will shudder deliciously between your chopsticks, its flesh rippling where the pressure of your grasp leaves spongy dimples. The scent wafting up from the bowl will dizzy you, so contrary and complex as to strike you as obscene, but you won't be repulsed, only hungry. Your teeth will sink into the pliant outer shell, which will only offer the slightest resistance. As your jaws close, it will change its shape to accommodate the pinch until at last it does not rip or tear, but pop like a hot abscess onto your tongue. It will bleed, Oh, yes, it will positively hemorrhage, spilling its innards in a hot, visceral gush. The taste cannot be described, cannot be contained by mere words, nor can you compare it to anything you've consumed before, though you will try. You'll think perhaps there's a hint of pork fat, succulent, slippery, and thick. You'll detect a similarity to roast duck drippings just before you realize that this flavor is far, far sweeter. You'll suspect they're composed at least partially of tapioca, but tapioca has never melted between your teeth or filled your cavities like this. Perhaps you'll even chalk its tang up to the inclusion of sour cream, but no, whatever it is, you're certain it did not come from a cow. And then comes the meat. You won't expect it after much satisfaction already, but there it will be, toppling in to stuff your cheeks. Finely minced and spice rubbed, drowning in gravy, it will slip down your throat before you even think to swallow, leaving in its wake a warm trail all the way to your belly. Each morsel will smolder in your stomach, filling you with a buttery radiance that slickens your blood. You will consider the words moist, tender, and satiny to describe the fleshy mass wilting beneath your gnashing teeth, but all will fall short. The way it infuses you from head to toe will be enough to make you weep. Rosie will watch you eat, and eat you will until the milky broth runs red and congeals, and you don't even think to ask why. When all that remains in your bowl is a drabble of bubbling, sticky black, you'll thank her. You'll give her whatever she asks for. And she will ask. The price is never the same. Sometimes she'll ask for a smile. Sometimes she'll ask for a rib. She will always take your saliva-slick chopsticks when you're done. When you leave Rosie's, the lights of the city will sing. Its people will glimmer, and the stars will yawn wide, even in the day. The sun will find you despite the clouds, and shadows will make way for you to pass. You will walk in a dream, and the dream will walk through you. But dreams fade, don't they? It's in their nature. So too will the warmth suffusing your bones, the bliss that has carried you far from the alley where you found it. How long ago? Has it been hours or days? A week, perhaps, or have only a handful of minutes passed since you last swallowed a dumpling down? You'll want it back. We all do. So you'll have to return to Rosie's, to the pagoda made of bone and the flickering sign, to the counter where Rosie is already waiting, pen in hand, and you'll learn of the referral bonus that lets you keep eating those ripe, fleshy dumplings even when you have nothing left for her to ask for. If you ever find yourself in Black Hill, you'll say, make sure you stop by Madame Rosie's on Lamplighter Way. She's got the best dumplings in town. Thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Coyote Crow. You can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/CoyoteCrow.